Today we're going to be going over something so simple that even your dog understands it. You need a Roth IRA, I need a Roth IRA. That's just the way the world works now. I remember growing up when I was in high school, we had this teacher in this class that was about stock investing, and actually a really informative class, but just like every other high school senior, nobody paid attention. We all goofed around with our friends. But the teacher always drove home the point that a Roth IRA was super important. And after graduating, I realized many years later that you need to start working on your retirement and investing in your life. So I started to look into a Roth IRA. And if you're anything like me, I was very misinformed when I was younger that I thought a Roth IRA was just something you put money into, it compounds by itself. And by the time you're 59 and a half and you're ready to take the money out, there's millions of dollars there. Well, I couldn't have been more wrong. It's not anything like a high yield savings account, but a high yield savings account is probably the one prerequisite. Having that 2 to 3 months, really 3 to 6 is what you're looking for, emergency fund for expenses is the one thing that you want to have before you start a Roth IRA. Whether you're a 18-year-old with $1,000 in a high yield savings account and that's all you need because you don't have any monthly expenses, or you're a 25, 35, 45-year-old man or woman and you have a 30-year fixed mortgage and you're going to need $10,000 to $20,000 in that high yield savings account. Really build up that savings before you start putting money into a Roth that you're not going to be able to take money out of until you're 59 and a half. And yes, you can have a little bit of nuance where you can still save for that emergency fund and put a little bit away each month for the Roth IRA. So I'm not saying that you can't invest in it at all if you don't have a huge emergency fund that can cover 3 to 6 months. I'm just saying make sure that before you put money into something that you can take money out of for a long time, unless you're going to get taxed heavily on it, make sure that you can afford that. Now that we have the really single prerequisite out of the way, we can really get into the meat and potatoes of what a Roth IRA is. A Roth IRA is just like any other brokerage account. You open it through Fidelity, Schwab, Robinhood, Vanguard has one too, and you put money into it. Now, once you put the money into it, it's just like a brokerage account. You still have to pick, if you want to do an ETF, if you want to do a solo stock, what kind of things you're looking at to get out of this. There's so many different investment strategies when it comes to a Roth IRA, and that's a whole video in and of itself of what you think you should do and moving forward with a Roth, how you should do things. But the moral of the story here is that you take that money, it's post-tax. So the money is already taxed by the government, your local government, whatever it is. So you put the money into the Roth IRA. Now, when you take the money out of the Roth IRA in 59 and a half years or however long it is until, you take the money out or you reach that age limit to where you can take the money out without being taxed or fined heavily. Now, all that money is now tax-free. So you get that money that has basically beat or leveled with inflation throughout your whole life, and you don't have to pay any taxes on it. So that's money that you can use right then and there on anything that you want without any sort of taxation or penalty, as long as it's after the limit. Now, that limit plays such a crucial role in your mindset as the investor because, inevitably those bad days are going to come where the market tanks and you're going to really want to take that money out. You open your account, you see the big red trend going down, and it might not hurt when you have a few $1,000s, but once you have been steadily investing for a while and you have that portfolio worth $100,000 and it's going up and down and you really start to think, is my money safe here? Am I really doing the right thing by leaving my money in the market, or should I take it out? Well, in a Roth IRA, it's so heavily geared towards not taking the money out. The tax advantage is so big that if you were to take the money out before you reach that age of 59 and a half, or that age where you can take the money out, the federal government will end up taxing you, and there will be such a big penalty on it that there's really no reason that you would ever want to take the money out early unless you really hit a hard financial crisis like a big medical bill or something. That's why it really helps just change the mindset of the investor and really gears you towards saving for the future. You simply would just be asking, how much should I invest? And once you have that emergency fund, it's however much you can invest is how much you should invest. The market on a normal year returns around 8 to 10%, while on more bull market years, it's 15 to 20, and then on worse years, obviously, it can do less than 8%. So the market will generally return your money with plenty of interest as you keep the money in. So the big thing here is keeping the money in, putting the money where you want it, research and do the legwork of where you want to put your money. That's a huge factor here of the Roth IRA. You need to put the time in, do some research, and figure out what your goal is as an investor. Are you someone who's 18, 20, 25, 30, who really has that long-term stretch where you can invest the money, let it sit there, let it compound and grow as you sit and wait and watch your investments? Or are you someone who's a little bit older? The biggest thing that you really need to work on is figuring out what your goal is. Obviously, the goal for all of us is to make money, keep money, and to be able to retire younger and work less in our life and have more time to ourselves, which is the ultimate money factor, is can your money give you more time to do the things you want when you want to do them? So just like that, you know exactly what a Roth IRA is now, and you understand the importance of it and basically how it can make you rich with you doing nothing as long as you just put the money in and you keep the money in there. So now to review, just to put everything together. You have the emergency fund. You have your high yield savings account that can cover 3 to 6 months of your life expenses. Next, you opened up your Roth. You did your research. You figured out what you like. Personally, since I'm younger in both my personal brokerage account and my Roth IRA account, I feel like things like QQQ and VTI and SCHD. SCHD is a dividend through Schwab. They pay out dividends so that you can buy a lot of small shares with that. And QQQ and VTI, since on Schwab you can't stock split them, you have to buy a full share. So I use that 7,500, which is that post-tax money again, and I buy QQQ and VTI for about 60-40%. 60% being more VTI focused and 40 of the percent being QQQ focused. And since those don't evenly break up into 7,500, I take the remainder and I split it between SWPPX, which is a mutual fund that tracks the S&P 500, and some SCHD. I like to do more SCHD in my personal brokerage just because that pays out those dividends and I want it to be a little bit more liquid. But definitely leave a comment below and let me know what you do with your Roth IRA, because I kind of like to look at other people's strategies. Something might be working for you that I don't think works, and we can bounce those ideas off each other, which is just another huge benefit of the Roth IRA. Because if right now somebody were to leave a comment and they're like, oh my gosh, I make this amount of money a year putting this in my Roth IRA, buying this certain thing. If I want to sell all my shares, I don't have to pay taxes on any of that because you're not taking any of it out. You're reinvesting it in a different way. Again, if you were to take it out, you have to pay the penalty, you have to pay the fines, you have to pay the taxes. So don't take the money out. Moral of the story, all right? Keep the money in your Roth IRA. But if you ever want to switch up your strategy because you feel like there's more money to be made, there's better return to be gained, you can take all of those shares, sell them all, and reinvest them into something else. And even if you made a bunch of money on a few of them, you still can reinvest all of that and not have to pay a dime until that 59.5. And that's everything that you need to know about a Roth IRA. Hit that subscribe button, hit the like, drop a comment below. Let me know if you want different gameplay in the background. I play a lot of zombies, but there's plenty of other games that I'm going to be dropping in other videos. So just stay tuned, hit that post notification bell, and I'll catch you guys on the next one, all right?